I'm getting to the part where I need to put the undercarriage back together on this 97 Camaro SS. And we know that the stock tank is too rusty on the inside to reuse, and this fuel sending unit is also just too far gone to be able to reuse. So before I put this together, I have to decide what I'm going to do for a fuel system. And either I need to buy a new tank and sending unit, or I need to make something work here that I have at the shop. So we're going to try to update this to the 99 to 2002 F-Body tank. A couple years ago, I had a wrecked car here and I ended up stealing the tank and straps out of it. But as this thing also had sat for a long time, you can see the pump is rusty, and all the stuff in the sending unit has been kind of cut up to put this aftermarket 255 pump in. Either way, using this tank is going to be a lot more cost effective. The pumps are about 1/3 of the cost, and I already own the tank. Last but not least, this thing shouldn't rust. Here's the thing, if I knew I was going to be using a new style tank, I probably would have went to the WS6 store and bought their already installed Hellcat pump in their sending unit. But I was banking on that LT1 tank and sending unit to be good, so I'd already bought a Racetronix Hellcat pump, all the hot wire kits and adapters and pump harnesses, and even an upgraded bulkhead for the LT1 sending unit, which doesn't do me any good now. I can't return this stuff. So we're just gonna have to find a way to make it fit in an aftermarket LS1 sending unit for the plastic tank. So here we have, put all this stuff in, a brand new sending unit for an LS1 tank. This comes with a flat pin connector for the top of it, the updated side. There's the float level. And I'm just gonna have to take this thing apart and see if I can make it work. Okay, so I had started kind of doing a how-to video on how to put a Hellcat pump in a LS1 4th generation F-Body sending unit bucket. And I got it done. It went okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just there was a lot more to it making it fit that I wasn't really comfortable making a video to post how-to, because I'm not extremely happy with how it went. However, it is sound and it's gonna work. Either way, it's in there. This was really never in the plans. It was always in the plans to use that LT1 tank in that sending unit. So I'm just gonna buy some Evil Energy fittings, hook right up that sending unit and run it down to my fuel filter, and that should work. In the meantime, you can see my homemade paint booth. How awesome is that? I didn't need overspray all around this or on that. I went ahead and took the hood off so it wasn't in the way. In the last video, I said I was gonna be painting the engine bay, but I wasn't gonna do every step in the prep work that goes with it. But we did scuff it all. We had a couple places that went down to bare metal, and some places that were a little rusty, so we went ahead and did some rust converter, and then the places I burnt through, I used a direct to metal epoxy primer. It's pretty dry to the touch. I could probably go ahead and spray it with my base coat and clear coat it, but I'm just gonna wait till the morning. Just make sure that everything kind of cures and I don't have to worry about any solvents working up through my base coat. I'm just getting ready to mix up this base coat to spray the engine bay. And it just got me thinking that the last time I have really sprayed anything base coat, clear coat has been about 13 years. I had to dig up my paint guns, and I even bought a cheap Harbor Freight gun to spray at least the bottom of the car, and it also works great as a primer gun. But one of the things I think about is how terrified I used to be of trying to paint or do anything new in general. And a lot of people go, man, I wish I could paint, but I just don't have the skills or I don't know how. And the answer of it is just do it. And it goes with anything on the car. Because the truth is, I had no clue how to do any of this stuff. The reality is I was too poor to pay somebody to do it. Back to the Nike commercial, just do it. And you can spend all the time in the world researching and trying to line out what the parts are, what the best way to do things are, and you will never start your project, ever. You just need to start cutting things, painting things, sanding things, whatever you need to do, and just do the project. No matter what way you do it, there's always gonna be another way where you're like, I wish I would have done it different. Or I would do it better next time because I now know this, or this is available. There's always gonna be something better available, something new available. All the pros are gonna tell you differently. If you're not doing it day in and day out, who cares? It's your car. All right, rant over. Flies are driving me nuts. Let's get this stuff mixed up and I'll spray it. Let's get back to putting this 99 and up gas tank into my 97 Camaro. Now, the big difference on here is this is a plastic tank and I'm going from a steel tank, but there's big differences that make it not a direct swap. The first major difference being this charcoal canister. The charcoal canister on my car is in the fender well, and this one's right here. So all the lines are different. All the solenoids for the LS cars are located in the back of the car, versus mine are all in the engine. Another thing to note is between the LT1 and these is the solenoids are not compatible. So I couldn't even run wiring back here and make it work with the computer if I wanted to. Since we're not gonna use this and this sat here, I went ahead and cut this big line. The factory line comes out right here to go into the quarter that's over here. Let's imagine it over here, somewhere over here. We're just gonna turn this hose around so it's coming towards our imaginary canister right back here. And then we somehow have to reduce this big line to this 5/16 plastic line to be able to hook up to our charcoal canister over here. But I do have a plan, I think. So what I did is I went to Lowe's, I got a 1/2 inch to 3/8 barb, and we're just gonna put it right in here. I'm gonna heat this up just a little bit quick so we can get this barb in there. I could probably get it in without the heat, but it's gonna be snug. And that's what we want. It actually doesn't have to be crazy tight because there's no pressure here. I slid my fitting onto my Phillips screwdriver here. We're just gonna push this in. That's not going anywhere. I'm gonna get some 5/16 fuel line. I could have probably gotten by with this piece, but it's just starting to weather enough that, we'll replace it. This is gonna be a tough one because I have to fit this 5/16 line over this 3/8 barb. I'm gonna use a little silicone spray and hopefully we can make that work pretty easy, which we did. Is slide this into our 5/16 hose. There we go, and just like that, we should be able to hook it straight up to our 93 to 97 charcoal canister. Just need to slide these back in there. Well, that's no good. I thought I had some spray adhesive to be able to glue this foam back on this gas tank strap. And I don't. So I guess I'm going to town. Maybe I'll get ice cream. All right, we're gonna see if we can get this up here by ourselves. I'm not exactly sure. It's looking promising. To be right honest with you, I am almost 100% certain these are the wrong bolts. Yeah, I think they need to be a little bit longer. Well, maybe not. So the factory line from the LS cars will go right up to our stock LT1 return line. And then here's our 6AN hose, and we'll end up running it right beside that into our filter that's right here. One of the things I want to elaborate on is I was just talking about how you can't use the 411 PCM to operate the LT1's purge solenoids from the LT1 computer. And so why would I be still adamant on using the charcoal canister? That's a personal preference. I really feel that still running the vapors into that canister eliminates some of the gas smell that you get if you don't have a charcoal canister at all. Now, I'm not pulling fumes through the intake and bringing out the exhaust and all that fun stuff, but that charcoal I think does kind of neutralize it a little bit. I think that if you just put a filter right on the tank like some do, that's when you get a lot of vapor. And don't get me wrong, you are still gonna have some gas smell if you're sitting in a very hot garage or something like that. But for me, that's not a huge deal. It's no different than having your lawnmower gas can sitting in the garage. Tank's in. Now I need to go get a rear end, stick that in here. That way we can get this thing rolling. I got some projects I have to get done in the shop this week, and getting this thing rolling is my top priority. Plus, that way we can open up the doors and get the interior in. I brought my old 9-inch in from my last car. It's been sitting in the storage unit. I still think I'm gonna put an 8.8 in this. I already built one. Worst case, it goes in this car, or best case, I think. I'd say best case, it goes in this car. And you see, I already tack welded some casters onto this K-member. So with that and the rear end under it, we should be able to pivot it out of the way. I hate putting something this dirty in, but I just gotta remind myself, it's only temporary. Or is it? I don't even know where all the bolts exactly are for this. I know I put them in some place I'd remember them, which is definitely somewhere I have no idea where it's at. Now the real trick's gonna be getting these 28-inch tires to not hit the front or back of it. I didn't have to do a whole lot of trimming on the last car, but it is a tight fit. Well, it's back on 4 wheels, or maybe like 2 1/8. I don't know what you'd call those casters. I think they're considered a wheel. That was awful, I'm not gonna lie to you. And luckily I forgot to hit record because I don't think there's enough editing to fix that. It would just have to be straight music. We're gonna get this thing rolled off there so we can work on the interior now. So although not a huge video of progress and success, that was weird. That thing just stopped. What did we get stuck on? It was moving so well. I know this wasn't a huge video of progress, but it was all stuff that took a while. Got the engine bay sanded, primed, all that fun stuff, and painted. And then we converted a 99 to 02 plastic gas tank into an LT1 F-Body, installed that Hellcat fuel pump, ran the new wiring to it, ran fuel lines. Then we made the dolly and got the rear end back in it so we could roll it off the hoist and start with interior. progress is progress, and it's not always going to be huge, but little things like this at least allow me to get it out of the way so I can start working on the inside. So I still have a couple projects that'll be pretty cool. I'll be posting some videos on that. And then of course, I still plan on making steady progress on this. It's been a lot of work, but if you guys keep watching, you'll see the end result. And I'm fairly certain it's going to be worth it. At least if you guys don't like it, I know I will. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. And just in case if you're wondering why the rear end was locking up, it wasn't. You just can't run over a Milwaukee impact. Oh my gosh, that moves so much better. Ah! It's amazing when you don't have things in the way of the tires. All right, that's it. Not really. I'll see you in the next one.